Now, I started this the day after Renee Good was murdered, and here we are 17 days later with another. So I guess today's as good a day as any to finish. This is not new, and it's been coming for a while. It was only a matter of time before the ICE Gestapo murdered one of their own race. Now, white Americans are experiencing what black, brown, and indigenous people have been subjected to for centuries, and more recently in the past few decades. Murder by law enforcement and subsequent cover-ups and victim blaming. The saving grace for them and all those hateful mouth breathers who follow them, including the Republican Party and the entire administration, is that the woman was a lesbian. That is their get out of responsibility free card. Lesbian observer of ICE raids means they have a right to lean into the vehicle and execute her as she drives away. I mean, she had pronouns in her bio, for God's sake. Pronouns. Labeled a domestic terrorist for daring to be part of a group exercising their First Amendment rights to observe and object to the kidnapping of their neighbors. For this, she is executed. And now she is joined by Alex Preddy, the ICU VA nurse, a job which is by the very definition one of caring and compassion. Like Renee and so many others, he was on the street as a witness to the never-ending violence perpetrated by the narcissistic Mad King. His final act was one of caring, going to the aid of a woman who was two-handed into the snow for committing the high crime of standing in the street as a witness. But Alex stepped up because Alex. Now, we've seen other examples of out-of-control law enforcement, but always involving people of color or black people. Sandra Bland was pulled over for no reason and refused to put out her cigarette, which bought her arrest, assault, and found hung in her cell with the cameras suspiciously not working. Michael Brown was selling illegal cigarettes and was choked to death for his transgression. George Floyd was black, and so on and so on. There isn't enough time to list them all here. The only one who received a perception of justice was Floyd by having a state and federal DOJ willing to prosecute Chauvin for a crime mercifully caught on camera, shot by a brave young woman. Just like what's in front of our eyes with Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Always get tape. Cruelty has been the point in America since the first Christian colonizers landed at Plymouth Rock. They set about to commit genocide, or at the very least assimilation of indigenous people, in the most disgusting, horrific ways that I'm pretty sure you were not taught in school. Cruelty, like the acceptance of what has been going on in the streets, assaulting, kidnapping, and disappearing people with no recourse. And now, the worst of the worst. 5-year-olds in bunny hats, 2-year-olds with the misfortune of being out with dad, picked up and disappeared. Wow, those dangerous criminals sure start young in America. I mean, I've heard of Babyface Nelson, but 2-year-olds. We're hearing the phrase, bring down the temperature. We need to bring down the temperature. No, that's what they want. They want you to stay home and tut-tut from the comfort of your homes and computers while they ravage your neighborhoods and empty your lives, dragging off whomever they choose to wherever they choose for whatever they want. No witnesses. No videos of car windows smashed in, bodies brutalized as they're dragged on their swollen bellies that contain new life. A life that will never be now, thanks to the callous brutality of the eager thug. No one to see the bunny ear hat so proudly worn, for fear it may warm a cynical heart and rouse an apathetic nation that says the phrase, "This is not America, not the America that I know." Except it is America, and it is an America that too many others know. It just hadn't arrived yet at the melanin-deficient people's doorstep And now it has visited twice in 17 days. Turn the temperature down? No. Rise the hell up while you can. You're being shown that the most frigid temps can be warmed by caring, compassionate hearts. We were here for George Floyd, so of course we're here now, says the father and daughter representing alphabet generations. Renee and Alex, two souls, now linked forever because of their love and compassion for their fellow man. Standing for people they didn't even know. Being the helpers as we're told by Mr. Rogers to be, or look for if we're in trouble. But as they took their last breaths, both surrounded by hate, fear, and ignorance, Renee's love, mere feet away, kept back from comforting her in her last moments by weakness, greed, and abject misogyny. Fucking bitch. The words so many women have heard from dangerously, murderously insecure men, while the caring heart that wasn't mad at you, dude, was left to stop beating. Alone. Alex's final act was of protection and compassion, of course, just the same way he had lived his life. His last words, "Are you okay?" which was rewarded with mindless, rabid viciousness, gleeful in its violence, as seen by the excited clapping afterwards by the monsters. First, the government took their lives. Then it resurrected them as terrorists. So, turn the temperature up, my friends. Flood the streets with your hearts that still beat for those that do not. Blow your whistles loud enough to drown out the hateful, destructive rhetoric of those who bleat out the master's words, now struggling to denigrate us and tell us we did not see what our eyes just showed us. Drive out the weak, hate-filled, vicious thugs, lost in their pathetic, destructive cosplay. Now, please allow this pagan to give you a quote from a pastor 200 years ago. May your life speak more loudly than your lips. Think about it. Or another legend. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Or the Opal Lee. None of us are free until all of us are free. Rise up. There's more of us than them.